History was made this week when entries for next year's Comrades Marathon sold out in record time, just under 10 hours. The 22,000 entry cap was reached before 8 p.m. on Monday, shattering the previous record set in 2020 when entries took 3 days to sell out. The Comrades Marathon Association says the overwhelming response shows that the ultimate human race remains a bucket list event for runners around the world. General Manager Alain Dalais joins us to talk a little bit more about this record-breaking demand and what it means for the race and also what comes next. A very good morning and welcome to the AM Report. Thanks so much for chatting to us. When you started seeing those numbers climbing, what was your reaction?
Yeah, good morning, Valen, and to all your viewers. So it was like watching the stock exchange live in action. It was really, really exciting to see. It's a fantastic historic milestone, first ever for the Comrades Marathon. So it was just super exciting, a goosebumps moment until we closed entries just before 8 p.m.
To put that into perspective, last year for this year's race, it took 17 days to actually reach the cap. What do you think drove the demand for this year?
Yes, that's correct, Valen. So last year it took 17 days. Look, the sport of road running is in a fantastic space at present. Ever since after the pandemic, road running has really skyrocketed from your 10-kilometer events upwards. But the Comrades Marathon is, like you said earlier, Valen, a bucket list event that runners want to achieve at some point in their lifetime. And we know that after runners have completed the Comrades Marathon, it has changes their lives forever. But we are in a really good space as the Comrades Marathon as a brand and as the event as well. And I think also you have the 100th running of the Comrades Marathon coming up in 2027. So if you use the novices that will be participating in the 2026 edition, they will effectively qualify to get their back-to-back medal in that special centenary year of 2027. So that is also part of the massive attraction we believe at present.
Alain, what are you guys going to do, considering this is just the 99th race and you've sold out in record time? Next year it's the 100th race. How are you guys going to facilitate the anticipated demand?
So, Valen, the demand is actually there already for the 100th edition. We're getting lots of inquiries already from runners, and we haven't even got into the 99th edition. So the excitement is there. Lots of runners, if you think of your Green Number Club runners that have already expressed their excitement and interest to basically come out of retirement to do the 100th edition. And then you also have lots and lots of thousands of novices that want to attempt and achieve a finish at the 100th edition. So we are working tirelessly behind the scenes, effectively planning 2 races simultaneously at present, the 99th and the 100th edition. And with that, the 100th edition is going to come with all sorts of additional traditions and smaller events and functions that are going to be taking place. It's going to be a super special week and race weekend. So lots on the go there. And of course, one of the strong considerations that we are looking at is how many participants we can safely have for the 100th edition, because we know that the demand is going to be way more than what we've ever seen before. So we need to seriously look at that so we can try and give everyone an opportunity to try and participate in the 100th edition. However, our 2 main priorities are always runner safety and, of course, spectator safety as well. And secondly, the runner experience, because, runners need to be able to enjoy the race as well and not, worry about things like congestion, etc.
Would you guys ever look at going up to about 25,000 like we saw during the Millennium Year?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. At this stage, we can't say just how much or how many entries we'd possibly take, but we certainly would look at that. And, something we tried this year, the 2025 Comrades Marathon, actually worked extremely well, was wave starts. So we did a 2-group start. It's basically splitting the field almost in half. And that ensured that runners who previously would have taken anywhere up to 11 or even 13 minutes, everyone basically took 5 minutes to cross the start line at this year's race. So, wave starts are another option to try and just split the crowds and the congestion so that runners still have a good experience whilst also still keeping in mind safety. That also includes changing the start times, because we know with Comrades being basically, some runners are out there almost for 12 hours. So even though we start in the dark, but if we start the race earlier, we potentially could then allow runners to still finish when there's a little bit of daylight left at the end of the day.
The cap is 22,000. Will that be increasing at all in any way for those runners that have been left disappointed and now are having to wait for substitutions for next year?
At this stage, Valen, no, the entry cap will not be increasing, and neither will we be reopening entries. Runners, unfortunately, those that were unable to get in, we do empathize with them, but they will need to wait for the substitution window to open. So we, really are asking those runners that didn't get an entry now, that they're already on the 1st of April 2026, ready to snap up one of those available substitution entries so that can participate in next year's edition.
The theme for next year is Skafela Moya, which means don't give up. And that's, I suppose, a message for those athletes that may not have gotten an entry form, but they could get a substitution later in the year. Don't give up on your training just yet. Alain Dalais from the Comrades Marathon Association, thanks so much for chatting to us here on the AM Report. And certainly extraordinary demand for a race which is 90 kilometers, Arabella.